Eli, Eli, lema sabachthani, which means, my God, why have you forsaken me? Pilate released Jesus Barabbas to the people and handed Jesus Christ, our Messiah, to be crucified, according to what the crowd wanted. So they took Jesus Christ to a place called Praetorium. On their way to this Praetorium, they stripped Jesus Christ naked in front of the crowd. They twisted a crown of thorns and placed it on his head, and they wore him a purple robe. They placed a staff in his right hand. This is the exact way they dressed their kings. But they did this to Jesus Christ in order to mock him, not to hail him. After doing all this to him, they all knelt in front of him to mock him and said, "O hail the King of Jews, O hail the King of Jews, prophesy to us." They took the staff from him and struck him on his head again and again. They spat on his face. They blindfolded him again. They stripped him naked again. They took off the purple robe they have placed on him and returned back his own clothes. So after all that, they led Jesus out to crucify him. It was in the morning, around 9 a.m., they brought Jesus to a place called the Skull, along with two other criminals, the thieves, one on his right side and one on his left side. Then they began to mock Jesus, the chief priests and the crowd. Even the two thieves, initially, they were mocking Jesus. They all gathered to mock him and said, "Oh, you who claim to be the Messiah, you who claim to destroy the temple and build it within 3 days, come down from the cross and save yourself." With all this mockery, Jesus looked up to heaven and told God, "God, please forgive them because they do not know what they are doing." One of the thieves told the other and said to him, "Why are you mocking this man? We deserve the punishment we are having now. We deserve this execution. But this man has done nothing wrong. Shut up your mouth and stop mocking him." Then he told Jesus Christ to remember him when he come to his kingdom. And then Jesus, who was pleased with him, said, "Truly I say unto you, you will reign with me in paradise." At noon, darkness came all over the land until 3 p.m. and Jesus lifted up his face unto the sky and cried out loud and said, "Eli, Eli, lema sabachthani," which means, my God, why have you forsaken me?" When the people heard him say this, they thought he was trying to call down Elijah. And they said to themselves, "So let's see if truly Elijah will come down and save him, or will rain fire on them." One of them even took a sponge, soaked the sponge into a soured wine, and gave it to Jesus to drink. Again, Jesus cried out in a loud voice, and then he gave up the ghost. Jesus died on the cross. After Jesus Christ gave up his spirit, at that moment, the curtain of the temple was torn in two from top to bottom. There was a big earthquake. The rocks splitted, the tombs broke open, and the bodies of many holy people who had died were raised to life. And they all came out of the tombs after Jesus' resurrection. And they all went into the city and appeared to many. As soon as all this happened, many people who were present now came to believe that this man is truly a son of God after he had died. The following day, which is the Sabbath day, the rulers and the chiefs went to meet Pilate to bring the bodies down so that their legs will be broken. And Pilate definitely gave the order. So when they brought the bodies down, and when they got to the thief's body, they found out that they were not dead. So they broke their legs in order for them to die quickly. When they came to Jesus, they found out that Jesus was already dead. So there was no need for breaking his leg. Instead, one of the soldiers brought out a spear and pierced Jesus on his right side. Immediately, there was a flow of blood and water. And this thing happened so that the scripture would be fulfilled, which says, "None of his bones will be broken." Now the burial of Jesus. Later, Joseph of Arimathea, together with Nicodemus, came boldly to Pilate to request for the body of Jesus Christ. Remember Nicodemus? He was a man who came to Jesus at night and told him, Rabbi, I know who you are. I know that you are the man sent from God, because no man can do this except God be with him. Now, they went boldly to Pilate to ask for Jesus' body to be buried properly. Pilate immediately gave this body to them, and these men went ahead to get a new linen to wrap Jesus' body with it. So at the place where Jesus was crucified, there was a garden, and in this garden there was a new tomb where no one has ever been laid. And they took Jesus' body to this tomb and buried Jesus there. After this video, I'll be telling you about what happened to Judas Iscariot, the disciple who betrayed Jesus, and Peter, who denied Jesus.